Today we're going to be looking at some of the attributes of a great business analyst. So if you'd like to be a business analyst, you should know that it is much more than being able to write down what people are saying. There are some attributes that you need to possess. Here are some of them. We will look at some of them by examining Tunde, the business analyst that helped Mama Laide's joint to become the hottest amala joint in town. Just if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should watch the previous video. In it, I talked about Mama Laide, who owns an amala joint in Ibadan. And amala is it's a local food in Ibadan. Mama Laide owns the joint, which is called Mama Laide's Amala Joint. I believe that makes sense, right? So, what are some of the attributes that Tunde possesses? Number 1, curiosity. So, Tunde will not just go to Mama Laide and ask, "What do you want?" He would also ask questions like, "Why do you want that?" Because he's curious enough to want to know what the underlying reasons might be. And when Mama Laide says, "I want to serve faster," Tunde takes it a step further to actually observe what she's doing. So, by observing carefully, he is able to pinpoint what the real problem is, even though Mama Laide, who owns the joint, does not even know what the real problem is. Secondly, Tunde is a great communicator. Imagine him talking to Mama Laide, who speaks only Yoruba, and then talking to some of our cooks who speak different languages, talking to some of the customers, some of whom are very posh English speaking from very wealthy backgrounds, while others are from lower income backgrounds. And so they all speak different languages, and so communicating with them implies that the communicator has to know what works with each person. Being a good and a clear communicator is an essential attribute for a business analyst. And right in that line is listening. So Tunde is also a fantastic listener. He knows how to let people talk while he listens, but he also knows how to watch, because listening is not just about not saying anything, it's about observing what is unsaid, observing the emotions, knowing when people are angry, when they are animated, what ticks them off, finding where the points of frustration are. So it's not just about communicating, it's also about listening. Another attribute is problem solving. So when Tunde found the real problem, which was that Mama Laide's joint was making use of stoves that were under capacity, he came up with a quick fix, a temporary solution, which was to have gas cooking units that were inexpensive. They could help to make the process faster while the more extensive unit was being worked on. So what that did was to ensure that in the meantime, they could achieve some quick results without having to go through the whole process of change. In other words, he was able to come up with a temporary solution to the problem. The ability to solve problems is a very essential one for business analysts. And the last attribute I'd like to talk about is patience and adaptability. Oh, Tunde has a lot of that. You see, that seemingly simple project of finding out the problem with Mama Laide's cooking process that made it so slow, and then carrying out the change, replacing the stoves with better cooking units, that took more time than expected. It came with several hurdles. The suppliers didn't supply on time, they supplied the wrong thing initially, and all sorts of things. Tunde had to ensure that everyone was motivated, everyone was encouraged through the process, and he himself had lots of patience to be able to go through with it without any issues. That is a very essential attribute for a business analyst, because you're working with projects, and projects involve people, and people mess up. Okay, so a business analyst must have the patience to deal with people and the adaptability to always know how to come up with another plan in case something goes wrong in the process of executing a particular plan. And if I could add a bonus, it would be empathy. Tunde was genuinely concerned about Mama Laide's customers. He was able to step into their shoes, find out what they were feeling, and so he could visualize their problems, and that helped him to have a better grasp of the problem and eventually come up with the solution. So if you'd like to be a great business analyst like Tunde, you should check out my courses. Head over to businessanalysiscoach.com. I have a short course you can get started with known as BA 101. So you can go to businessanalysiscoach.com/BA 101. And I also have certification training. I offer certification courses of the British Computer Society, and you can check all of them out at businessanalysiscoach.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm currently running this series, which is 100 days of business analysis. So subscribe and you can continue to enjoy the series. See you tomorrow.